Yo, Benny! I don't think he's home, man. Benny, man, yo. Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm MC Savant from the Cankersaurs. You can catch me on funnyordie.com/Cankersaurs, K-N-K-S-O-R-Z, you know what I'm saying? But right now, it's all about Benny TV. Yo, because my boy Benny the Gagoots got his own show. And I just want to give a big shout out to Benny. And in honor of that, I'm going to do a dope-ass freestyle, man. So he's got to figure out what rhymes with Benny. 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 What rhymes with Benny? Benny. What rhymes with Benny? Benny. He's in the Serengeti. He's hunting for a Yeti and he's always on the ready. And Benny's always merry when he's eating his spaghetti. But right now he's in the desert, so his palms are kind of sweaty. His good friend Freddie, he brought him that Ben and Jerry. And Yetis, they love the Ben and Jerry. So Benny caught that Yeti and we all threw confetti. Yeah, Benny. Benny TV, baby.
Yeah, Benny TV, baby. Yeah, have a happy July, everybody. I hope you're having a great day today. I'm stuttering. Had a lot of fun. I was on the beach. I was thinking about Benny TV, thinking about the fun week I've been having and the more fun I'm going to have. You're going to have fun today. If you had a great day, I hope you're watching Benny TV to start off your night here live on Strong Island Radio and Television. A lot of great shows. As I said, I had a great week. This past Sunday, I went to a Long Island Theater show at Broad Hollow Theater Company, Thoroughly Modern Millie. And it was excellent. I've gone to a lot of Long Island productions. My wife as well. My wife has been to 100 Long Island productions, she said, and this Thoroughly Modern Millie is on the top of her list. It's a musical. It's a lot of fun. The acting all around is great. There's dancing. The dancing is great. They do some tap dancing numbers that are amazing. And a very good friend of mine plays a character in it, Miss Mears. My very good friend, Joan St. Ange. And she plays Miss Mears, as you can see, an Asian woman. And it's a lot of fun. She's great. She just eats up the scenery, and it's a great part for her, and everybody is good in it. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to take my sunglasses off to tell you a little bit more about it. I just took my glasses off. And the entire cast is great. The Millie by Christina Corsaro is amazing. There is Muzzy. Muzzy has the best voice out of everybody. Muzzy, as I said, Joan St. Ange is in it, Deanna Alexandra, Brendan Bittler. Every person here deserves recognition. It's a great show. You can still catch it, Broad Hollow Theater. And you just look up the Broad Hollow Theater Company. They have several theaters. This was the one on Main Street in East Islip. And it's a great show. The show plays until July 29th. So until this coming Sunday is the final show. I believe the Sunday will be a matinee, but you can catch Friday, Saturday, and I believe a Wednesday show. You definitely, if you love the theater, you should go support Long Island Theater. All of these production companies put on amazing shows. Right now we're just concentrating on the Broad Hollow Theater Company, but if you look in your local newspapers, or if nowadays you can look online and find out the Long Island theaters, and there are so many great productions and great musicals. These are very talented, mostly SAG actors, so Screen Actors Guild, or they belong to the Acting Guild, which I do not. I do not belong to the Writers Guild either, and I wish I did, but I don't. There's a few things. We're going to cover some movies tonight. We're going to cover, I want to mention a couple of books that I've been reading. And I do want to mention, sometimes we mention music. I don't have any pictures for this, but for all of you Tom Petty fans, his family and a few members of the Heartbreakers, Mike Campbell, the lead guitarist who was with Tom Petty on not only with the Heartbreakers, but a lot of his solo projects, him and his wife, his daughter, and Mike Campbell and a few other people put together a box set which is coming out, and it's a box set that's going to be a 4 CD set and a 2 CD set. More economic. It's called An American Treasure, and there's going to be some songs that had never been released before. Right now, if you listen to Sirius XM, there's Tom Petty Radio, which is the Tom Petty channel. And on Tom Petty Radio, they've been playing a song called Keep a Little Soul. And it's a great song. They've been playing it. They say there are different versions, so it's not going to be like a greatest hits. It's going to be live versions of songs, different outtakes of songs. And it's very exciting. I can't wait. I'm going to pre-order it. Probably pre-order it through Amazon very, very shortly. I'm going to pre-order it. I've been doing a lot of shopping on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I ordered some stuff, and there's some movies, as you know, I always like to play movies that I call the forgotten classics, which I think are movies that you should still see. They shouldn't be forgotten. You shouldn't. Sometimes they're making a remake. You hear about they're making a remake of a movie, and many of you who are much younger than me, you don't remember that movie in the first place. But that's a movie you should see. And the first movie I'm going to show you a trailer of about a president who has nuclear nightmares, and Dennis Quaid is in it, and Dennis Quaid can peer into your dreams and help you out in your dreams. So I'm going to show this clip of Dreamscape.
Alex Gardner has a unique talent, and even he doesn't know what it can do.
No one has ever done it before. No one has even conceived of doing it before.
Going into another person's dream. You might have to see that to believe it.
He is about to enter a world that no one has ever seen before. The world of your dreams.
I was under the impression we were conducting scientific research here.
You sound as if you don't approve.
I can see you're going to be a real challenge to work with.
Oh, wait a minute, Doctor. I haven't agreed to anything yet.
There's somebody in my dreams.
Who?
An awful, ugly monster.
This kid is being eaten alive and nobody gives a damn.
Whatever his demon is, you have to help him face it.
There's nobody there.
Are you sure, Alex? He's always there.
But Alex will make a discovery more frightening than any dream.
What's going on?
I had to let you know you're in danger.
You want my secrets?
Just want some advice.
I'm afraid he has to be killed.
I'll assign some men to you.
But I think I should deal with this on my own.
And now, his only way out is to go back in to the dreamscape.
It's a dream, Alex. You can do anything you want in here.
Dennis Quaid, Kate Capshaw, Dreamscape. When you close your eyes, the adventure begins.
And we're back. I'm back.
Hello!
And Ryan's back.
Or is this just a dreamscape?
Yeah. That's a great movie. It's really a fun movie. I recommend you watch it on Blu-ray.
I've never actually watched it. You just talked to me about it a lot. It's a movie that I've always wanted to see.
Yes.
I think the first time you ever brought up to me was when Inception came out, because it's like the other big dream movie that you are a big fan of.
Right.
So that was the first time I heard about it, and I've always wanted to watch it. I've seen clips, but I've never fully gotten to watch it, and I hoping maybe I'll get to watch it soon.
Yeah, well, I'm getting it on Blu-ray. So.
Yeah, so maybe, it'll go missing for a couple of days.
Yeah. Great cast in it, too. Besides besides that kid there. What's
Dennis
his name?
Quaid?
Dennis Quaid, the Quaid kid.
That young Dennis,
the young
the rookie.
Dennis Quaid. Kate Capshaw, who is Steven Spielberg's wife.
What about
and
Randy?
And Randy's not in it.
Randy's
But
not
Kate
in it.
Capshaw, Christopher Plummer.
Did they do a movie together, Dennis and Randy?
Yeah, they made a couple of movies. One movie that I know of, which is an interesting movie, The Long Riders, it's about Jesse and Frank James. It's about
I think you told me about
And
this.
everyone in it are
Is
real brothers.
real brothers.
Real brothers. So the Quaid brothers are in it. They're part of Jesse James' gang. The Carradine brothers are in it.
Yeah.
As well. And then there are these two twins who are in the movie, but they're not part of the gang. But they have a very important part in the story. And so it was the great thing about it, and it was James Keach, who went on to be a producer-director for Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Yeah.
Right? So he directed it.
Okay.
And he put it together. So it's the James Gang story. If you're familiar with the story, it's a James Gang story, but the fact that it was all brothers.
Yeah.
And I love all them guys. I love the Carradine brothers, too. So to see all of them together, it was a fun Western. I really enjoyed it. But back to Dreamscape.
Well, speaking of Westerns.
All right, Westerns.
The film that we're going to talk about today is from a duo that last time they were together they made a Western. But the film that we're talking about is not a Western, but it is the fourth film made by Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington, and the first sequel that Denzel Washington has ever made. I believe it's also the first sequel Antoine Fuqua has ever made, but I'd have to double check that.
That I don't know, but yeah, Denzel Quaid. Denzel Quaid does not make movies with his brother. No, Denzel Quaid, Denzel Washington has never made a sequel except for this.
Except for this, which we're talking about is Equalizer 2, which came out this week. 3 sequels came out this week. Equalizer 2, Mamma Mia 2, and Unfriended 2. No one saw Unfriended 2. Mamma Mia 2 was supposed to be the big movie of the weekend, but it was actually Equalizer 2, which both of us saw yesterday.
Yesterday, and enjoyed it.
Yes. You just spoiled the whole review.
No. No. I'm sorry. Did I spoil the review? Spoiler alert. Okay.
So, you want to talk about what the film's about before you jump the gun? And
yes, you can talk about what
sure. So Equalizer 2 is the sequel to the first Equalizer film from 2014, starring Denzel Washington, directed by Antoine Fuqua. Also has Melissa Leo, as you see in this photo of Denzel Washington and Melissa Leo. Bill Pullman's also in the film. Pedro Pascal is also a big character from this one. Pedro Pascal, who is one of the lead characters of Narcos and was in Kingsman: The Golden Circle, among many other movies. Pedro Pascal gets around. In this film is Denzel Washington plays, again, Robert McCall, former CIA agent, thought to be dead, who now goes around almost as like a modern-day Robin Hood, or as we were calling it, Punisher meets Batman.
Yes.
Where he's just a lowly Lyft driver, driving around, doing Lyft things Lyft drivers do, taking people to the airport, taking people drunk from, McTucci's, whatever local pub in Boston. And he gets involved in some more things from his past that gets brought up. And he has to, due to the loss of a friend, has to go and do some equalizing.
This movie, what I like about it, and I like the fact that they made a sequel, and there is a possibility, he could continue this character.
Yeah,
he
definitely could.
The Equalizer is a superhero vigilante, in a way. In a way. It's Denzel's closest to being he's a superhero, without, not the powers, but he's a detective. He knows how to
the closest superhero would be he's like the Punisher.
Okay, yeah.
He's kind of like the Punisher, but he's the Punisher who only helps people that can't help themselves and nobody else can help them. The Punisher kind of just kills mob bosses and different facets of gangs. That's not necessarily what Robert McCall does, you know,
No.
Denzel's character. He's just trying to right wrongs.
And he's a
essentially.
thinking man's
Yes.
vigilante because he's an intelligent man and he gives a lot of thought to what he's
And he
doing.
could probably kick Jason Bourne's ass. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, it's about it. I would say that. He could probably kick Jason Bourne's ass.
And I love his fighting style is almost like minimalist. Like it's the least amount of movement he can do to break someone's arm or to take one of those really thick American Express cards and slice it across somebody's forehead.
Man.
It's an R-rated action movie. It does have that hard R feel of like a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie of the 90s or a Die Hard or a Steven Seagal movie of the 90s. So that was one of the aspects I really liked about it. And as you already gave away, both of us did very much enjoy this film.
Yeah, we enjoyed it, but no, I said I enjoyed it, and I think people should go see it.
Yes.
But there were some things I wasn't crazy about in it without giving away. You know, it's like it's more about justice than being a mystery.
Yeah, it's predictable. It doesn't have much in the way of a story. It's kind of a paint-by-number story, and then it feels, the way I described to you is it felt like a couple of different episodes of like, because it is based on a show,
Yes.
and the show was, each episode he would solve, you know, I've never actually seen the show, I've just, as we talked about yesterday, I just really love that scene in Wolf of Wall Street,
Right.
where Rob Reiner as Leonardo DiCaprio's dad gets really, really upset when somebody calls the house when he's trying to watch The Equalizer. And he's like, I wait all week for the effing Equalizer. And he gets so mad. And that's the only, I said I was going to watch an episode of The Equalizer before I went to bed last night. I didn't.
But
I
he
didn't.
did
I
watch,
just watched a YouTube video about hats.
and he showed me the video right in that point where Rob Reiner is saying,
He's getting so mad. He's
so
just
mad.
so worked up.
Who would call me on a Tuesday?
Yeah, who has the gall to call this house on a Tuesday night?
You know I'm watching the Equal, and then
I wait all week for the Equalizer just to get ruined by some half-wit.
It's
great. I love
It's
that.
great.
But yeah, so the Equalizer, he solves like some sort of mystery or some sort of dilemma in a innocent bystander's life that they would have never been able to get help from otherwise.
Right.
Very similar to like the A-Team. I believe this was on around the same time as the A-Team. I don't know, you were around.
I didn't really watch. I wasn't a big fan of the A-Team.
You're not a Baracus guy? You know?
No, what?
That's Mr. T's character, B.A. Baracus.
Yeah, no, I wasn't
Pay
a
the
big fan.
fool who doesn't watch A-Team and the Equalizer. Why didn't they get a
And I like
crossover?
George Papard.
That would have been a good crossover.
What, the Equalizer?
Yeah,
and
maybe
the-
like Face gets shot, and then, you know, the Equalizer's got to come in, help the A-Team. They were friends back in the day, you didn't know. You know, that would be cool, but we're getting off the subject.
We're getting off the subject.
I feel like the Equalizer 2 felt like a couple of different episodes put together. Like the main story would be like a 2 to 3 episode arc that has a subplot going through it, and then 2 other big events happen earlier on in the film that both feel like they would have been like standalone episodes. So it kind of feels like 4 to 5 episodes of a show put together into 1 2-hour movie, which a lot of time doesn't really work. I thought for this film in particular, it did work.
I agree.
Because
I thought
of
it worked
the
too.
filmmakers behind it, and the acting was very good. They had a great cast. Denzel
Everybody.
Washington can bring so much to any role. He could take something that's just average and make it above average.
His subtleties in acting, and Melissa Leo was in it, and her acting. There were scenes where I actually believe that they've been longtime friends.
Yeah.
They
have very good on-screen chemistry.
They
between the
have
two
a
of them.
great chemistry on screen, and
This is, I believe, the 3rd film they've done together. 'Cause
They've
it
done
was
together.
Equalizer 1, Equalizer 2, but also Flight with Robert Zemeckis.
Yes.
Specifically, the final scene. She is the one interviewing him in the final scene,
She's
which
the-
I don't want to give anything away for the film Flight, but it's a very powerful finale, and it's specifically between the two of them. And I think between those 3 films, they have a very good rapport together, and they do feel like people that have known each other for a long time, which they may or may not have. We don't know.
And Denzel
I'm not Denzel.
Denzel is one of those actors. He's one of those actors that comes along every couple of decades or so. Who was
Yeah,
just
once in a generation.
once in
kinda
a
guy.
generation type of like a Spencer Tracy.
He's like the
or-
male Meryl Streep. You know, like anytime he's in a big movie, you kind of just assume he's going to get nominated that year.
But actors like Jimmy Stewart and Spencer Tracy could just walk through you would think that other people were just walking through their role, but these guys, just the subtleties, no dialogue, and they get their character across, you know, and Denzel
It takes a
fits
really
that.
great actor to do that. I think another actor that happens to be the same generation that also does it, and they clearly, because they did one film together and it's still considered one of the best films, especially for the subject matter, is Tom Hanks.
Yes.
And you can look at Philadelphia and
Right.
the work the two of them did together in Philadelphia, and they play off together, you know, perfectly, especially because that film is heavily, you know, it's all about the AIDS epidemic, and
Yes.
Tom Hanks very subtly playing a lawyer trying to defend himself who is suffering from AIDS, and Denzel does a great job of playing someone who is afraid of AIDS and doesn't really understand it, and isn't a bad person, but is scared. He's scared and he's afraid, but he wants to help this person. And both of them give off such subtleties
Yes.
and nuance, and you learn so much from those characters without them ever actually saying anything. With a lot of stuff, yeah, they do say some things. It is early '90s movies, so they kind of hammer over the head some of the ideology and stuff they're trying to get out in the movie. But there's a lot of stuff they don't say that teaches you so much about the character, which is the same thing that I feel like Denzel does in The Equalizer, because they don't have to tell you the things he did in the past. You could just tell by the way he acts to these new scenarios and new situations of how he would have been in the past.
Yes.
And that's something I really like. That was
Me
something
too.
that-
I'd like that. Like I said, I thought the story it was, you know, we said, it's predictable in a way, but that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's it's about a vigilante, and it's about justice. It's about justice and, I guess, revenge.
And my
You
other
know.
thing was, you know, you want a character, obviously, in a movie, character arcs are a big thing. You want a character to change either for bad or good over time in the movie. And this is a movie where I feel like Denzel didn't really have a character arc. There were other characters. There's another secondary character that he's almost a mentor to in the film. I felt like that character had a character arc.
Yes.
He doesn't really have a character arc, but I feel like he had a character arc in the first film, and they went through all of that, and instead of doing what a lot of other sequels do and just rehashing that same character arc, they decided to just, this is where the character left off, and this is the continuing story. He learns a little bit, I guess he learns acceptance, but that's about it. He's not...
Okay, because I'm glad you brought that up for the fact that one of the basic rules of writing a story is that your character has to have a conflict, and then your character must change.
Yes.
But so the character should have an arc and change. But what
He
you
does
said,
have conflict, but he doesn't change.
but he doesn't change the other character, which is great.
Yeah.
And that happens. There are stories where that happens. In
Yeah.
Forrest Gump, bringing Tom Hanks again. Forrest Gump, the character himself, I don't think he even realizes how his life
That's
changed.
true, yeah.
He doesn't even realize it.
I mean, he does change, but not that much. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more the environment around him.
The environment,
changes.
everybody else
it's about
around
how everything changes around him.
around him. And that's in this story as well. The characters change around him. The other characters have an arc. But I think for who he's playing, and for who he is, the Equalizer, he should not change because
Yeah.
he, as you said, he's an episodic character. He's a
Yes.
character that could be a comic book. I would read an Equalizer comic.
It does seem like it could be a comic book character.
Comic book character. And when I say that, for those of you that don't read comic books that much and think, oh, they're childish. No, they're not. Comic books are for adults, and you'd be amazed at how many adults read.
Well, I feel like, with the exception of like my mother, most people have gotten past that when it comes to, reading comic books and it being a childish thing. I mean, not 90%, but more than 70% of the biggest shows and movies, right now are based off of a comic book.
Yeah.
Or some sort of,
a graphic novel.
The Walking Dead, Preacher, The Avengers, but not even that. Kingsman is based off of a comic book series, and there's tons, and even if they're not based off a comic book series, they have Glass coming out in January and Split. Those are based off of superhero lore.
Yes.
And there's always stuff like that, but that's something like the way comic books are today, what Robin Hood and Tarzan was, 75 years ago. It's the same thing. It's just the storytelling has evolved and it's changed.
Yes.
And instead of, we used to adapt novels and we didn't really grasp it, now we kind of grasp that. So then we moved on to comic books, and now we've kind of grasped how to adapt comic books. So now the big thing of trying to adapt next, which is the thing that people find silly, in my opinion, is video games. That's the big transfer over now, because I liked Rampage with The Rock. Some people don't. I think it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Right now, that's the by far the best superhero movie. I mean, video game movie, not superhero movie. Best video game movie that we've had.
And
that's not saying that much. It's a fun movie, but it's not anything above, like a 7 out of 10.
It's a popcorn
It's a fun
movie.
popcorn movie. But other than that, the best video game movie is Mortal Kombat, which isn't saying that much. They've yet to be able to master adapting a video game to a movie or television in the same way that they've been able to do it with comics now.
Well, I think it'll happen.
And it'll happen, but I feel like I don't think people look at video comics the same way anymore. I think people look at video games the way they used to look at comics.
Okay, and
they look at comics the way they used to look at novels. Is how I like to look at it, I think, they went from adapting science fiction novels to adapting science fiction stories told in the form of comics.
Yeah, no, and it's a great medium. The comic book medium is a great medium, which was created here in this country.
Yeah.
So it's American.
Yes.
The comic book, and to me, a lot of times I've seen storyboards of movies where it seems like the people writing the storyboards were almost writing comics.
That is almost in a way.
Yeah.
In a way, it should be fairly easy to adapt a comic book to a film, because a comic book is essentially, storyboards with a script.
Right.
But that also comes into the issue with adapting, because maybe you want to take some of the iconic frames and adapt them into, like, I think a perfect example of it is Zack Snyder's 300. He took a lot of the amazing artwork that Frank Miller had in the graphic novel and adapted it perfectly into the movie. Like, you can pick up the book and stare at it and then look at the TV screen, it's identical. He did an amazing job.
That's amazing what he did with that.
He tried to do that with Batman vs. Superman, but then also tried to change things, and the mesh didn't work.
But it worked for Sin City.
It did work for Sin City, but
Sin City.
Then they tried to do it again with the Spirit.
That's a shame.
And that didn't work out. And that's, again, Frank Miller.
I never saw that, and I love Frank. Frank Miller is one of the greatest. We'll be talking about him a lot
next week, yeah.
Next week in upcoming episodes. Frank Miller, who is amazing. The Spirit was probably something that anyone who reads comics wanted to see a great Spirit movie, because Will Eisner is actually considered the man who invented the term graphic novel.
Yeah.
And Will Eisner, you watch their pen and ink comic books, and they are amazing. It's like you are sucked into, when you read The Spirit, you're actually sucked into the comic, because that one panel that has the title sometimes, that one panel could be a long street in the city and a sewer with a newspaper going down, and that's the title is the newspaper folded going in. And I'm saying that because I own that comic. I own a few of The Spirit, and The Spirit is big in our house, including your mom, because we used to keep comics in the bathroom. One time your mom came out and said, who writes this Spirit? This is amazing because they're visually.
And if I brought that up to her, it's like, I don't read. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I never. But your mom read a lot of comics.
The only thing I read is what someone posts on Facebook.
But anyway, no. Mom and we used to read a lot of comics when you were young. And Will Eisner, who did The Spirit, it's sad. I never even watched the movie because you told me it was.
I've seen it.
I know. And you expected
And that's all I have to say on that. I've seen it. And I don't think a lot of the people that made the film have seen it. If I was in the film, I wouldn't watch it. It has a huge cast. Scarlett Johansson, Samuel L. Jackson, a lot of other actors that probably don't want me to say their names, Eva Mendes.
It's a shame. It's a shame because
There's one scene in particular of Samuel L. Jackson and Scarlett Johansson where it's just like I don't even want to talk about it. It's just like the most insensitive scene you could ever see that involves like hurting an animal and the Third Reich and just a lot of just terrible things in once, which I believe are all part of that we're all like, I guess they're all part of the comic. None of the Spirit comics I've seen ever had any of this. There's videos that you could find on YouTube that cover the entirety of the Spirit. Nostalgia Critic does a good video on it.
On the actual
on the movie.
On the movie.
And how bad it is and how people are just amazed that it exists. But yeah, we were talking about Equalizer. We were not talking about we were talking about Equalizer.
We went off on comics. And
because you brought up you just love bringing up superheroes and Blade Runner 2049.
No, I didn't even mention. I wasn't going to mention that. I'm not going to mention the B word tonight.
You were going to be like, another great movie Denzel could have been in was Blade Runner 2049. That was the next thing you were going to say.
No. There's movies I think Denzel would be good in, and in remakes, which I said earlier that, shouldn't make remakes, but Denzel is a character who is good for a remake because you'll forget about the other.
Well, that's how we both felt about the Magnificent Seven remake. Was he did a great job.
He did a great job, and I love the original Magnificent Seven. And you got me a great birthday gift last year.
Yeah, I got you all four, right?
All four Magnificent Sevens. And then
except for the new one,
which we own now, don't we own it?
Maybe not. Maybe that's what I got you for your birthday this year.
Okay, well,
you gotta wait 2 months to find out.
I love a good Western too, and Denzel was great. They changed the story of the Magnificent. This is now we're talking about Denzel, but
well, I mean, we're more on the subject than talking about the Spirit.
Yes, and as you said, it was the same director, the director of the Magnificent Seven remake. Is the director of the Equalizer.
Yes, Antoine Fuqua, who also directed Training Day, among many other films. Southpaw, with Jake Gyllenhaal most recently. A lot of great movies.
But back to the Equalizer 2. I feel that everyone should go see it. If there's a movie, if you're undecided right now because you've seen a lot of the big blockbuster movies.
If you've seen Ant-Man and you saw The Incredibles, or you don't like superhero films, I would recommend Equalizer 2.
I would recommend that too. If you want a good action movie with a thinking man's, it's a thinking man's hero, a thinking man's vigilante, even better than the Die Hard movies. I mean, not Die Hard. The what's the one?
Jason Bourne?
Charles Manson.
Charles Manson.
Charles Bronson.
Yeah, those famous Charles Manson.
Those famous Charles Manson movies. Yeah, I Dismember Mama. No. I Dismember Mama is a horror movie, but he's slipping away. I'm losing him. Come back, son. Come back, my son. Charles Bronson.
I worry about it.
The Death Wish movies.
Yeah, they remade that with Bruce Willis.
With Bruce Willis, and I'm not hearing that many great things about that
film.
I liked it. Okay. All right. I won't watch it.
I did.
You didn't.
I liked it more than The Spirit. I'll tell you that much.
All right.
It's better than The Spirit.
Better than The Spirit.
Yeah, the Death Wish remake, I like action movies. Couldn't do it for me.
Couldn't do it. Where this movie could
And I
do.
watched it for free. I didn't pay to see it. I saw it for free.
Wow, you saw it for free, and
it still was like, why did? I
Why
could
did
have been
they
doing
bother?
other things with my 90 minutes. Could have been sleeping.
I didn't feel that way
I
yesterday.
would have rather waited in line for like a Hero or something.
At Subway.
I don't know. I'm waiting 90 minutes at Subway. I'm leaving. I don't,
Well, where are you going to wait 90 minutes for a Hero then?
somewhere in the city, maybe. Leggio's Deli. something.
Leggio's is right in Bay Shore, Long Island.
That's what I'm saying. I'm giving you options.
I'm going there tomorrow.
Yeah,
you
see
want
me-
something? Yeah, we're gonna. Anybody want something? If you want something, just tell me on Facebook.
Yeah, some Capicole.
Capicole. Cappy. What's that? I hate that commercial. Excuse me.
You just smack the
the
microphone.
Smack the mic.
All right, good, because you're getting off topic again.
Okay.
You're talking about
I
cold
know.
meats
That's why
now.
you're here. That's why you're here. All right. So to wrap up the Equalizer 2, as we said, we
That's what
enjoyed
we were
it.
trying to talk about, yes.
Is there anything we missed on it? I think we covered pretty much everything.
I think so. I saw another action movie this week, Without You.
Yes.
And it's interesting because in July, there's 3 weeks in a row with 3 male, and I would say older male-oriented action films, all with pretty big name stars. You had Equalizer 2 with Denzel. You had coming out this week, Mission Impossible Fallout, Mission Impossible 6 with Tom Cruise, and then the other film that I saw this week, which was Skyscraper, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. There's a very big difference between Skyscraper and Equalizer 2, and probably Mission Impossible. I haven't seen it yet, but it was very interesting watching Equalizer 2 yesterday after having just seen Skyscraper, and I liked Skyscraper. I would give it a favorable review, but it is just a die-hard knockoff. But if I had to, I just want to say, if you had to pick between seeing Skyscraper or seeing Equalizer 2, I would choose Equalizer 2. I would say, even if you hadn't seen the first Equalizer, you don't have to have seen the first one. If anything, watching this will probably just make you want to watch the first one. If you hadn't seen it, even if you have, just to refresh your memory, they've been playing it on FX a lot recently. They might be playing it again. If not, iTunes has a lot of movies. But I would recommend seeing Equalizer 2 over Skyscraper. But I did like Skyscraper, but that movie is kind of just a die-hard clone where I feel like Equalizer 2 did kind of feel... Of course, it does feel like other action movies, and like we said, it's predictable and stuff. I feel like it has a lot more going for it. And I love The Rock, but he's no Denzel.
All right, and let me say, I love The Rock. I will eventually see Skyscraper. I would, but I did have a choice yesterday to see any movie.
Yeah.
And the
You
movie
didn't
I
choose
chose,
Mamma Mia.
I didn't choose Mamma Mia, and I will not. I've never seen the first one, and I actually wanted on my tombstone, he never saw Mamma Mia. That's all I want. Not even my name.
Nothing else.
Nothing, and not my name.
Not your
nothing.
name.
Not when I was born.
Just he never
He
saw
never
Mamma
saw
Mia.
Mamma Mia. Hallelujah. So, no. So I had a choice yesterday, and I
Not a
chose.
big ABBA fan.
No, I chose. I chose The Equalizer 2 because I love Denzel. I've seen many Denzel movies in the theater. I like to go to see them. He makes. Some people make a good. Even though that, as we said, this is a action movie. It's a good movie to see on the big screen.
Yes.
And it's very suspenseful. I love it. I give it, though, my number now. I can give my number now?
Yes.
I give it a 7 out of a 10. Okay, so I give it a 7 out of a 10. But I say definitely it's a go-see in the theater. Go see on the big screen. It's worth it.
I would give it an 8 out of 10. I think I liked it a little more than you. Because I liked it a little more than I liked the first one. I really liked the first one. I really enjoy the first Equalizer. I own the first Equalizer. But just something about this movie Maybe it's Denzel's character. Maybe it's the action. I just happen to I enjoyed this one more, and I can see myself watching this one more often. And I can see this being a movie that I would just watch a lot. Even just be a movie that would be very much like a very easy like rewatch. Very rewatchable. It's high rewatchability.
Yeah, I agree.
Rewatchability goes a long way with me in ranking a movie. So I would put it at 8 above 7 because of how rewatchable I feel.
All right, and I feel it's rewatchable. I would watch the first one another time, but this one I could watch.
Yeah, because you've only seen the first one once. I've seen it
not that long ago.
A couple of times. I've seen it a few times.
But as you said earlier too, you don't have to see the first one to see this one. You could see. You don't have to. And it wouldn't hurt if you never saw the first one. See this one and then see the other one.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt
it would
you.
work out that way for you. It's not that you're not missing. You know who all the characters are.
Yeah, you'll figure it out in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, in a few minutes. I really enjoyed it, and I always enjoy these times that we have together on.
I always
TV.
enjoy the times we share.
Thank you for keeping me in line.
I try.
I would have been talking about.
I don't know what you'd be talking about.
I would have been talking about cold cuts, pots and pans, and.
Yeah, you were the intricacies of a Virginia ham.
The delicacies of strawberry salad.
Okay, so we have a video coming up.
You want to cue up the video?
I don't remember what it is.
Okay, this is another classic film.
Classic.
With Christopher Walken.
I remember what it is now.
Okay.
It is a film starring Christopher Walken, and it was the last film of Natalie Wood's career.
Yes.
And the film is Brainstorm. And when we come back, I will not be here, and my dad will, and he's going to talk more about it because he loves Brainstorm. And you guys can have a brainstorm talking about how much you love Brainstorm.
Okay.
And, yeah, we're going to be right back.
We'll be right back. Don't go away. You're watching Benny TV on Strong Island Radio and Television.
Brainstorm.
Yeah. All right. Slide away.
Suppose it were possible to transfer from one mind to another the experience of another person.
Hey, there it is.
Any person, any experience.
I'm telling you, it works.
Test, sound, taste?
Everything,
Smell.
everything, 100%. In fact, better.
Did you have a breakthrough or not?
Yes.
I'd like a demonstration. Knock my socks off.
What about military applications?
Wide open.
Missile guidance, that kind of thing?
They're going to be able to plug right into the old noodle.
I made that for you.
What is it?
It's me.
You've blown communication as we've known it right out of the water. You know that, don't you? So something happened to me. It was more than just a sexual fantasy. It was a feeling I had. I'm more than I was, Mike.
I'm scared. But the thing is, I like it. I want more.
No, I can't authorize this.
It's a chance to take a scientific look at the scariest thing a person ever has to face.
This is not the research we're interested in.
This is my project. I don't want to see it end up on some defense scrap heap before we know what it's really about.
I want these personal experiments stopped.
I told you I want to play it out.
Nobody plays that tape.
Arrest him.
They're onto us.
and that is Brainstorm, one of my all-time favorite science fiction films. It's the movie Brainstorm was directed by Douglas Trumbull, and many of you who don't know who Douglas Trumbull is, he is a special effects genius, and he's the man who did the special effects for such films as 2001: A Space Odyssey. He also did them for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That movie I talk about all the time, begins with a B, a science fiction film. And Doug Trumbull directed several movies. The first movie he directed was called Silent Running. That was a science fiction film with Bruce Dern. And then he made this film, Brainstorm. And Natalie Wood died during the principal shooting of the film. So MGM Studios had decided that, they said that when she died, they weren't able to finish the film. And MGM Studios wanted to collect the insurance money on it, that the film could not be completed. And Douglas Trumbull fought MGM Studios and went to, the insurance company was Lloyd's of London. And if any of you know, Lloyd's of London will insure anything for the right price. They insured Ginger Rogers' legs back in the 40s. Ginger Rogers was a famous dancer and had her legs insured, no lie, by Lloyd's of London. And Groucho Marx used to joke that his eyebrows were insured by Lloyd's of London. And Douglas Trumbull proved to Lloyd's of London that the film could be finished without Natalie Wood. And I guess they used a body double. I do not know what scenes she was not in. And the movie seems complete to me. As I saw it on the big screen when it took several years before they finally released it. And I enjoyed it. The other actors in it, it's Christopher Walken, Natalie Wood, Louise Fletcher, whom many of you may remember as Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which she won an Academy Award for that performance, and Cliff Robertson, also an Academy Award winner. The film would not have been able to be completed, it would not have been able to be completed had Louise Fletcher passed away. Louise Fletcher is the most pivotal character, without giving any spoilers away. She is the most important character. Her and Christopher Walken, they're two scientists that discover a way to record your memories. So they record your actual memories with your emotion, everything going on, and it could be played back in another person's mind. So you know how you get at the time you were able to get a VHS tape, or you could get a DVD and play a movie, and this was like virtual reality, but you actually had the feeling and the emotion, and it was the virtual reality of another person's memories, which was pretty cool, pretty interesting. I feel that this film has aged very well, and it does not seem like dated. It seems like if you were to watch this film nowadays, you would say that, hey, wow, you know, the government may be working on this. And people believe back then, it was the early 80s. I believe it was like the early 80s, 82, 83, when this film came out. And back then they were saying that, you know, the government was doing these experiments on mind control experiments and things, which is what this film is based on. Great movie. I recommend that you watch both of those classic films that we showed. The first one was Dreamscape, which they go in your dreams, and as Ryan mentioned, it's very similar to Inception. It's different. It's actually, if you have a nightmare, someone like Dennis Quaid will come in and help you fight the demon in your nightmare. If you're being chased around by the boogeyman, he'll help you. You know, and this film with Christopher Walken is a scientist who invents this great, you know, he actually tapes your mind. So if something happens to you, if you're a speed racer and you're riding in a race and you win a race, they could record that, and then other people will play that tape and actually be racing in a car. but nothing will happen. They'll still go through the same emotions as you that you went through. They'll have your feelings. So it's amazing. It's a great film. I always try to show some great films. I talked about books. I'm going to a book that I'm going to be talking about next week is a movie we covered last week. Ryan and I discussed Children of Men. So I ordered P.D. James' The Children of Men. I intend to read some of it and perhaps even read a little bit of it on one of our upcoming shows. We still have a little time. I'd like to show you. I have another video of another forgotten classic, and this is a remake, and this is one of the cases where the remake is actually just as good, if not better, than the original film. And I believe this is the one we're going to show, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Check this out with Donald Sutherland.
They come from a dying world. They drift through the universe, pushed on by the solar winds. They adapt, and they survive. The function of all life is survival. Sleep, sleep, sleep. From deep space, sleep. The seed is planted. Sleep, sleep. Terror grows.
Matthew! Matthew! Matthew!
Like the others.
Elizabeth, wake up! Get you when you sleep. Sit up!
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
It's got no detail, no character. It's unformed.
All of a sudden, they're growing like parasites. Is it contagious? People are being duplicated.
How do you know my name? I didn't tell you my name.
Can't find anything in here that looks like a body.
One side's nosebleed.
It looked right at me.
You're looking at it as if it was human. It was not human.
Now, the classic fear begins to grow.
We're being cornered.
In a modern masterpiece of science fiction.
They're barricading the street.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Get down!
Starring Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams, Leonard Nimoy. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. From deep space, the seed is planted. Terror grows.
And you're watching Benny TV, and that is Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and that is the one you should see. I highly recommend that. Still, the special effects are amazing. The acting, Jeff Goldblum, Donald Sutherland, Karen Allen, Leonard Nimoy. It's a great movie, very scary, better than the original. I highly recommend it. Anyway, had so much fun. It's time to go. So I want you all to have a great week. See you next week where we're going to do our special Batman episode with Ryan, and 2 special guests will be on it. So I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for watching Benny TV on Strong Island Radio and Television. And here are our sponsors. I want to thank them as well. Thank you all. Have a great week. See you next Tuesday.
Get it all, baby. Right here. YouTube.
Right here.
Subscribe, man.
Hey, what's going on? I got Ice Family Haircutters here. Anytime you need a haircut, stop on in. My name is Janet, and you need to see Benny TV. What an idiot. You gotta see this guy. He's great. Adios.
Sandy, she's the funniest girl in town. Sandy, she loves the crowd around. Sandy, don't let her near your kids. Sandy. Sandy. She's so smart and so innocent, Sandy. She easily pays the rent, Sandy. She'll kill you and eat your flesh, Sandy. She drives a Celica, Sandy. She has a good sense of smell-ica, Sandy. Denies 9/11.
It was an inside job.